Well, hello. Welcome to the Lord Lad channel again. Today I decided to take a break from yapping about Smash King and decided to bring you a different kind of video. This video I'll be talking about Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, a game that was very heavily hyped up to be a great return to a fan beloved series, but now it's kind of known for its big fall off. But what exactly happened with Sparking Zero? What caused it to have such a big fall off that everyone talks about? Well, that's what we're here to talk about today. So without further ado, welcome to the Dragon Ball Sparking Zero video, because I haven't thought of the title yet. On March 5th, 2023, where this all begins, on the second day of the Dragon Ball Games Battle Hour, right after a Dragon Ball Fighters tournament and a live performance by Hibinori Kenyama, viewers of the livestream and attendees were gifted a special surprise of the reveal of a new game. The trailer would show an old CRTV showing gameplay of the old Budokai Tenkaichi games, but would then change to show Goku transforming into Super Saiyan Blue on planet Namek. This would be followed by the tagline, "Get ready for a battle, a new Budokai Tenkaichi begins." This trailer, although very short, was able to build up a lot of hype and speculation on who will be playable in the game, how big the roster will be, what new what-ifs will we see. The hype was there and real, but any kind of new information about the game wouldn't be given until December of that same year at the Game Awards. Now this is a reveal trailer, showing off some amazing animations and how beautiful the battle arenas look. We see gameplay of Goku and Vegeta. Along with that, we see new transformations for when they transform, with these animations looking beautiful. I have never seen Super Saiyan Blue so beautiful in my life. Then again, I don't like Super Saiyan Blue, so there's not much competition. We also see a whole number of new and old characters to the Budokai Tenkaichi games. You know, I wasn't too sure that Trunks is going to be in the game, so I'm glad they confirmed him twice. And it's also here that we get the name of the game, called Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. Now in Japan, the Budokai Tenkaichi series is called Dragon Ball Sparking, but everywhere else it's called the Budokai Tenkaichi games. So for this new entry, we're returning to an old name and the return of an old series. It was also revealed that Spike Chunsoft was developing this game. Now, if you don't know who Spike Chunsoft is, then you might know them as the development company behind Jump Force. This would also begin the semi-regular releases of trailers, as next month at the 2024 Dragon Ball Games Battle Hour, we would get our newest trailer being the Rivals trailer, focusing on Goku and Vegeta and their many transformations, from the beginning of Z all the way to Super Saiyan Blue. But it's also from this trailer we exactly get a number of how big this roster will be, as at the end of each trailer, when a character is revealed, they get added to this grid at the end of the trailer, with this grid having 164 slots. Many were excited due to this big number, but also many were concerned, as many feared that some fan favourites may be getting cuts from past Budokai Tenkaichi games to make room for newcomers, as Tenkaichi 3 had a roster of 161. Following that, in March, we would get a gameplay showcase where game producer Jun Fentani would show a match between Goku and Vegeta and break down how the game is played. We would also be followed up with a trailer that's got to do with speed and power types. This trailer focused on two types of power sets in the game: characters focused on speed and characters focused on power. This would also begin the monthly releases of character reveal trailers, as in April, a trailer named The Master and Apprentice trailer would release. This trailer would also bring some questions, as some thought that the Z version of Android 17 wouldn't be his own character and instead be regulated to a costume for Dragon Ball Super 17. As normally in these trailers, a character would get a splash screen revealing who they are, and they would also get added to the grid at the end of the trailer, but this didn't happen for Z17. So many thought that he would be regulated to a costume, although some were quick to point out that on the website for the Dragon Ball Sparking Zero game, that the Super version of 17 had Super in brackets, insinuating that another character with the same name would be revealed. May's trailer is based around fusion characters, with the following trailer being the Summer Games Fest 2024 trailer. This wouldn't be a major character reveal trailer, but instead be a release date trailer, that would also give us a look into the story mode, revealing that you can go first person during the cutscenes and that what if scenarios will be incorporated with the main story, giving us options during our adventure to choose if we want to go through the canon route or the what if route. At the end of the trailer, it would be revealed that the game would release in October of that year, with also the reveal that if you pre-order the game, you will get Super Gogeta and Super Broly as early unlocks, and another mystery character that would be revealed later on. There is also different editions of the game that would release, with both the Deluxe and the Ultimate editions having 3-day early access, free Shenron summons, and the first 3 DLCs holding up to 28 plus characters, with 2 to be revealed being the Gammas from Dragon Ball Super Superhero. With more from that movie to come, and characters from the new show that was releasing at the same time, Dragon Ball Daima. This trailer will be followed up a few days later with the Game Mode Showcase, again presented by Jun Fintani. First there would be episode battles, where the main story and what if scenarios take place. Then there's custom battles, where you can make your own battle scenarios with their own scripts and everything. One controversial about this reveal here is that to play locally, you can only play in the hyperbolic time chamber with friends. This would be upsetting to many fans as they wanted to relive the days of the old Budokai Tenkaichi games, playing with friends and family together in person. And it's said that it would be changed sometime after due to some backlash, but it's still odd that if they were able to do it, why didn't they? In the same month we would get another trailer that was released focusing on sword users and those who punch, because that's just so hard to come by in Dragon Ball. The last batch of trailers would begin to release weekly instead of monthly, all being based around sagas in Dragon Ball Z to begin with the first 3 being the Namek and Saiyan saga combined, the Android saga and the Buu saga will both follow. And this is where people started to worry as more character slots were being taken up, and more people were afraid that because we had so many super characters, GT and the old movie characters wouldn't be getting into this game. A week later, many people's hopes would come true and Dragon Ball GT would be added, although some major characters were being left behind. Super 17 and the Shenron brothers are no-shows in this, which caused a lot of backlash as they are fan favourite characters, but they were being cut for other characters instead. No, we have to have Super 17 gone, so then we can have room for Frieza's men! But one more trailer was set to release, with many losing hope about seeing the movie characters from the old Dragon Ball Z movie days appearing, with some even slamming the game for not having them in. And so the last trailer would release, with the super characters and Kid Goku being revealed, but with 3 slots left unfilled.
Whoa! Looks like there's lots of powerful opponents still out there! Kakarot! You wanna die?
Finally, all the much loved movie characters would be added. And now every character is added, we can now... Okay, now it's all done. Yes, that hidden character that I mentioned before turned out to be an early DLC for Daima Goku. Sparking Zero released on October 7th for early access and October 11th for everyone else. And on release, it dominated platforms. For a couple of weeks, Sparking Zero sat on top of the Steam charts, with an average of over 40,000 players, topping most Dragon Ball games in that month, gaining an 81 score of Metacritic. This game was beautiful, and it was made by people dedicated to making a good game. The character models, the menu, the interactions in battles, the stage designs, and little extras like costume battles and the encyclopedia mode with Bulma, Chi-Chi and Videl having something to say about each character. The game just felt like it had so much Dragon Ball charm that Toriyama left after his passing that same year of release. But it wasn't perfect. There was a number of things wrong with the game and things that the game just lacked at launch. some things including lack of single player content, some menu options for the custom battles setup, some menu options for the custom battle setup, missing characters like Super 17, King Piccolo, Tao Pai Pai, and while the story mode was good, the worst scenarios were kind of lackluster. Now there was some interesting ones like Frieza being able to bring along his own teammates to the Tournament of Power, Goku going Super Saiyan in the Saiyan Saga, and one that got many people excited, Gohan Black. This one, while popular, did also make people question why was he not an unlockable character. Many was upset with such a cool and interesting what if character wasn't playable, not even a costume for Gohan. This is where most of the game's flaws became more noticeable. Being that there was so much missing, the game kind of felt rushed. This is also adding to the fact that Super 17 was found in the game files, so he was worked on, but wasn't added to the game. But what's my take on the game? Well, the game sets out what it's set to do. Be a modernized Budokai Tenkaichi game that's great for new and returning players that include new content from Dragon Ball Super. The characters look great, the animations and visual effects look stunning, stages look phenomenal, the story mode was pretty decently well done, but I do have some gripes with the game. I think this game could have done with a little bit more time in the oven. There's some tweaks that needed to be fixed, some more additions that would have done greatly, especially for single player content. The what if scenarios, while good, I really do feel like they should have been their own separate mode, and some of them could have just been more interesting. Overall, this is a good game, it just lacks reasons to come back to it. It's more of a game you play when a friend is over, or something that you haven't played with, or a game you haven't played in like months. So you go back to it for a little bit, for like an hour or so, and then just leave it again for a couple months. So overall, I'm gonna rate the game a 6 out of 10. As time would go on, Sparking Zero's player base would drop significantly, from 40,000 to 8,000 players within a month. That's quite a big jump. And then with months following after, ranging from 3,000 to 1,000 every month, with some months being as low as 700. So what exactly happened? Why did a game with such a large following, so much excitement, so much hype built, lose its player base so quickly? Well, I think it's got to do with the fact that there isn't much to do besides just endless battles via online or locally, the story mode, which is lacking in content, especially with the what ifs, and next to no single player content whatsoever. Yeah, the custom battles, but with the way it's all laid out, it's kind of hard to keep playing, let alone make custom battles. Now, I can't really speak for people that played online, because I didn't play online whatsoever. But from what I've heard from other people, everyone had to deal with broken metas and annoying players online, so it never gave people a reason to continue playing. So in a nutshell, it's largely due to just a lack of content. But this isn't where the video ends, as in January we begin to see more content released for the game. On January 23rd, the first batch of DLC would release, 11 new playable characters with superhero versions of Piccolo and Gohan added, along with that, Piccolo's new transformations and Gohan Beast added. Along with that, newcomers Gamma 1 and Gamma 2 were added, along with Cell Max, and the first DLC would also be accompanied by a new costume for Piccolo, being the Red Ribbon Army costume he wore in the superhero movie. This first DLC is good, but if we're being honest, I think they should have been in the base game. I just think if the game was coming out 2 years after the movie was already out for 2 years. So they could have easily just pushed the game back a little bit more just to add the superhero characters. But anyway, the next DLC that was released was the first Daima pack, consisting of Super Saiyan 1 Daima Goku, Daima Vegeta with all his transformations, and serious newcomers Glorio, Pansy, and Majin Ku. A decent pack, but I remember loads of people complaining, asking where Daima Piccolo was, the Tamagami, the adult forms of Goku and Vegeta, and Goku's new transformation. And I saw those complaints and was like thinking to myself, there is another pack coming, like this isn't the last DLC. But we just have to wait for it to come. Speaking of the next DLC, that would release on June 7th. With that pack adding Charlotte from Dragon Ball Legends, of course. No one else, just Charlotte. Now this was an extra DLC that was added for the anniversary of the Dragon Ball Legends mobile game. And if you had the Ultimate Editions, you still got it for free anyway. And he was a welcomed addition to the game. Charlotte is a fan favourite and has consistently been asked to be in games like Xenoverse 2. So it's nice to see him in Sparking Zero. A much welcomed addition. But finally, the final DLC to do with Dragon Ball Daima would release on September 19th, adding 6 new playable characters. Super Saiyan 4 Mini Goku and Adult Goku, Super Saiyan 3 Adult Vegeta, Majin Du, King Goma, and his giant form. And yeah, that's all the characters. We did get a Demon Realm stage as well, but honestly, kind of disappointing. No Piccolo, none of the Tamagami, no Shin. The Tamagami one played such a big part in the final fight. Tamagami 2 and 3 also had some amazing fights with Goku and Vegeta, and yet they weren't added at all. We did get a new stage, but only for the first Demon Realm. The DLC for this game ended up being very lackluster and disappointing if this was the last DLC of the game. So many people would have strong opinions on this game, but luckily it's not, as recently at the Genki Damatsuri in January, more DLC was revealed to come this year with new characters, new stages, and new game modes to release this year. With one of them already being added, called the Mission 100 game mode, a game mode from Budokai Tenkaichi 3, which made you go through different themed battles. Overall, this game had so much going for it, but it just didn't live up to its hype. It's a good game, a great game in fact, but it just had so much missed potential and opportunities. However, this year may bring players back to the game, but it could also make or break what's left of this game's reputation and its player base. It all depends on if the game developers commit to making the game as best as it possibly can. So there's Sparking Zero, a game that had so much going for it, but just didn't hit the mark quite as much as people thought it was going to be. Maybe the new updates and new characters will bring a change. And oh look, they've just revealed a new character now. Let's have a look. Who the fuck is this guy?